Rosie O'Donnell is turning heads this week after sharing a fresh-faced selfie, marking her latest public appearance following a recent facelift. The comedian and actress has been spending the summer back in New York City, and by all accounts, she is making the most of her time in the Big Apple. O'Donnell, who relocated to Ireland in 2025 following Donald Trump's presidential election, took to Instagram on Saturday to share snapshots from a vibrant night out. The star attended a performance at the Hudson Theater to support Mariska Hargitay in her Broadway debut, Every Brilliant Thing. O'Donnell was joined by singer Orphee, and the pair crossed paths with Nicole Kidman, who was celebrating her 59th birthday, alongside her daughters, 17-year-old Sunday and 15-year-old Faith. The Instagram carousel featured a group photo at the theater bar, but it was a glowing selfie of O'Donnell and Orphee that really captured fans' attention. The comments section was quickly flooded with praise, with followers noting that the star looked beautiful and fantastic. When one curious fan asked if she had moved back to the United States for good, O'Donnell clarified, "No, there's another school year there for Clay. When he's out, I will be back." The renewed interest in O'Donnell's appearance follows a candid essay she published on Substack this past May, where she first revealed her decision to undergo a facelift. She elaborated on the choice while walking the red carpet at the Tony Awards on June 7, explaining that she simply wanted to soften the lines that made her look sad. O'Donnell also stressed the importance of transparency regarding her recent physical transformation. Having lost 50 pounds after being prescribed the GLP-1 medication Mounjaro to manage her diabetes, she felt a responsibility to be open about her journey. Whenever a celebrity who has had a weight problem their whole life all of a sudden gets very thin, and they don't announce that they're on Mounjaro, I think it does a disservice to everybody who has ever struggled with obesity, she said. Reflecting on the pressure to hide such procedures, she added, "I didn't want to say to everyone, this is just me naturally. So many people I know in show business who've had them never would say it, just tell the truth, we'll all be better off." It is truly fascinating to watch the evolution of a public figure like Rosie O'Donnell, especially when she chooses to pull back the curtain on the industry's most guarded secrets. When we see her now, popping up in New York City, radiant, fresh-faced, and candidly discussing her facelift, it feels like a natural extension of the persona she has built over 4 decades. We aren't just looking at a celebrity update, we are looking at a woman who has spent her entire career dismantling the barrier between the audience and the star. To understand why this moment feels so significant, we have to look back at the path that led her from the comedy clubs of Long Island to the global stage. Rosie O'Donnell was born in Commack, New York, in 1962, a child of the suburbs who possessed that quintessential, fast-talking, observational wit that defined the stand-up boom of the 1980s. She cut her teeth on Star Search, which feels like a lifetime ago, but it was her move into acting, with standout roles in films like A League of Their Own and Sleepless in Seattle, that solidified her as a household name. She was the funny, grounded friend everyone wanted, a persona she leveraged brilliantly when she launched her talk show, The Rosie O'Donnell Show, in 1996. That show didn't just change her life, it changed daytime television. Before Rosie, daytime talk was often either excessively somber or aggressively sensationalist. Rosie brought a genuine, fangirl enthusiasm to the format. She was the queen of nice, hugging celebrities, obsessing over Broadway, and making the audience feel like they were part of a giant, chaotic, and loving family. However, anyone who followed her career knows that the Queen of Nice label was always a bit of a reductive shield. Rosie was never just a cheerleader. She was a powerhouse with a sharp political edge, a fierce advocate for LGBTQ+ rights, and a woman who never suffered fools gladly. Her tenure on The View remains one of the most volatile and influential periods in the history of daytime television. It was there that the mask of the light-hearted talk show host fully gave way to the reality of the social commentator. She was unafraid to clash with co-hosts, take on political giants, and voice opinions that were often unpopular. It was an era that foreshadowed the current, highly polarized landscape of media, where Rosie consistently found herself at the center of the storm. Looking at her recent move to Ireland, it is easy to view it as a retreat, but knowing Rosie, it is more likely a strategic pivot. She has always been a woman who listens to her own internal compass. Whether she is advocating for foster care adoption, navigating her health challenges, or relocating her life to accommodate her son's schooling, she does so with a sense of deliberate, almost stubborn, autonomy. The fact that she is now splitting her time between Europe and the United States, dropping into New York just to support a friend like Mariska Hargitay in her Broadway debut, speaks to a woman who is finally curating her life on her own terms. She isn't performing for the sake of the industry anymore, she is participating because she wants to. The commentary she provided regarding her facelift and her weight loss journey is where I think she is at her most powerful. We live in an era where beauty standards are reinforced by the silent, often dishonest, maintenance of the elite. When a celebrity suddenly transforms, the collective gaslighting that it's just water and yoga is, quite frankly, insulting to the public. Rosie's choice to be transparent about Mounjaro and her surgical procedure isn't just about vanity, it is an act of defiance against the industry's culture of secrecy. In my view, this is the most Rosie thing she could have done. She has always been someone who feels a moral responsibility to tell the truth, even when that truth is uncomfortable or exposes her own vulnerabilities. By saying, "Just tell the truth, we'll all be better off," she is holding a mirror up to Hollywood, challenging her peers to drop the facade. It is worth noting the contrast between the Rosie of the 90s and the Rosie of today. In the past, she was constantly trying to keep the peace, acting as a mediator for the entertainment world. Today, there is a softness in her, a sense of peace that doesn't require her to be the loudest voice in the room. Seeing her at the Hudson Theater with Orphe and running into Nicole Kidman, another woman who has faced her own share of intense public scrutiny, feels like a full-circle moment. She is still the fan of Broadway, still the lover of New York, but she is no longer chained to the high-pressure grind of daily television. I personally believe that what we are witnessing with Rosie O'Donnell is a masterclass in aging gracefully in the public eye. Not gracefully in the sense of conforming to beauty standards, but gracefully in the sense of finding personal freedom. When she says she wanted to fix the lines that made her look sad, she isn't necessarily bowing to pressure, she is claiming agency over her own reflection. She is acknowledging that we are all allowed to change, to evolve, and to seek happiness, whether that comes from a surgeon's needle or a change of scenery in a different country. This moment in her life is a poignant reminder that even the most outspoken figures deserve a quiet chapter. She has spent decades fighting for space in a world that often tried to define her by her weight, her politics, or her temperament. Now, by choosing to be open about her physical transformation, she is stripping away the last remaining mystery, proving that she doesn't need the secrets that others cling to. She is simply living her life, balancing the demands of motherhood with the freedom of a semi-retired veteran of the stage and screen. Ultimately, Rosie O'Donnell remains a cultural bellwether. When she speaks, people listen not because she is a polished, media-trained celebrity, but because she is authentic, flaws, procedures, and all. She continues to prove that you can be a lightning rod for controversy and still emerge on the other side as someone who prioritizes her family, her truth, and her own peace of mind. Whether she eventually returns to the US full-time or continues her life across the Atlantic, she remains an essential, enduring, and remarkably candid presence in our culture. Her current chapter is not a fade-out, it is a declaration that the best way to remain relevant is to remain yourself, regardless of what the critics, the cameras, or the industry might say. And honestly? In a world of carefully curated, heavily edited perfection, a little bit of Rosie's honesty is exactly what we need.